in your hair in living color.
And as you said on your little screen down there, 100% human! Exclamation mark.
Yes, we are. We are. No AI here.
Well, there's maybe not even just general I either.
Yes, indeed. It's a summer weekend coming up. By the
Yes.
way, gold and silver up. I posted that. It's gone up 5% for silver and 2.5% or something about that in gold. So
Wow.
if you have those bits of material hanging around in your house, it's worth more today than it was yesterday. Only because everything is hunky dory around the world.
Yeah. But I have, can you actually say hunky dory now?
Which is not permitted, dory or the hunky?
Well, I know a dory is a boat, and hunky usually means big. So you're talking big boats, like the things that go up and down the lakes where you are.
Yep, those are.
Oh, okay.
That's a big boat.
The big boat.
The big boat.
The big,
Yes,
big boat.
the
Yeah.
big stinking boat.
So you're going to be able to, in your summer vacation time, go down and watch those big boats on the lakes. And
Yep. Well,
yeah.
they now have cruise ships coming up here, which are
Oh,
really
really?
pretty impressive.
Wow.
Oh yeah. I mean, this as long as they can fit through the Welland Canal, I think they have to be under 1,000 feet, and they can fit. If you go to YouTube on the live stream of the Lake St. Clair on the Port Huron side, there's a live camera you can watch them. Well, they actually have videos too.
Wow.
This thing behind me is actually where those two flags, there's a camera there that is on 24/7 that watches the shipping up and down the St. Clair River. And it's one thing to watch these enormous lakers, which some
Hmm.
are actually trapped in the upper lakes because they can't get through the Welland Canal because they're so long. Some of these
Wow.
are 60, 70,000 tons, ore carriers, and where they're serious boats. But these Viking style cruise ships,
Mhm.
they do 10, 12 days up through the Great Lakes, for a serious amount of money, by the way, because they're not cheap cruises. But
Yeah.
it's interesting. We always think about cruising in the Caribbean. It's very exotic, or up and down the rivers. Europe, also
Yeah.
very exotic, or the Mediterranean, or across the Pacific to go to Japan or what
Wherever.
have you.
Yeah.
And they have these same sorts of vessels here, and but they're going to go to Midland. And I'm going, Midland? What are you going to see in Midland? Or Duluth? Whoa, Duluth.
Yeah. Well,
And then, or maybe down to Chicago, and then go past Detroit. And I'm going, well, that's so what? But I guess the big excitement is you're going through the lakes, which, this is an inland sea for all intents and purposes. But you get to
yeah.
see some pretty nice shoreline, and it's
Well,
different. But
it wouldn't be done if there wasn't a need. I guess that's, somebody has made a need. And
yeah,
for the average John Q public, uh, they probably know about the Great Lakes and they could probably name them all off. And if you've been fortunate enough, you've been able to drive around some of them or buy some of them. But I would never have thought that you would
oh yeah, it's amazing.
actually cruise
And by
them.
the way, do you know how many Great Lakes there are?
Well, according to my 5, isn't
It's
it?
a trick question.
I think it's 5.
Okay, name them.
Huron,
Yep,
Ontario,
yep,
Michigan,
yep,
Erie,
yep.
Simcoe.
No,
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 no.
no.
God, what is the last one?
Little tiny one. Lake St. Clair. I won't you suffer. It's what
Simcoe. Oh,
basically connects Lake Huron with Lake Erie.
okay.
that's the trick of it. Superior. That makes it.
Superior. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's everyone goes 5. There is 5, but there's actually 6. But everybody forgets Lake St. Clair.
Mm. Well,
It's kind of the orphan lake, out there. Much
yeah.
like the bridge that connects US and Canada. Uh, it's also an orphan. Except for some people are making money out of thin air on it.
Well, it's all about money nowadays. Like
Sure, sure.
getting on a cruise ship to cruise the Great Lakes.
Yeah. By the way, that bridge opens today. Although no one's going to be there to celebrate its opening.
Well, we've talked about the adults that aren't in the room many times on our
Yeah.
shows, but
It's,
this is just another indication that they're not there again today. So
no, and we're not going to talk about it because we're just
no,
lies
I
and
think
other
like
famous
you,
things that are being told to us are not going to be in today's program.
no, I realized, I think it was after last week's half-hour show, that when you stop banging your head in the wall, it doesn't hurt as much.
That's right. That's right. And people, they say, look, Bob, Tom, you told us this already. Tell us something new.
Many, many times, several times, as a matter of fact, we
Yeah,
have talked about it. But
yes. So today we're going to not do that. We're going to talk about stuff like, how did you spend your summer thus far?
well, we had a great trip back to Alberta. We saw family and friends, and took the grandkids from from California up through the Icefield Parkways, where our grandson, who had never seen snow, saw snow, actually got to pick up some snow and feel it. It was kind of neat. Just
In July of all months.
well, and it got down to I think as low as 5 degrees, and the rain was starting to look a little thick.
Ah, cool. Did you get to the Jasper area where they had those
Yeah,
fires? How did
yeah.
that look?
It's starting to green up. The town is rebuilding. Disappointed in many ways because they're with the fires, obviously the wildlife has moved to
Yeah,
other places,
sure.
so we didn't see a great amount of wildlife. Um, but it'll take time to regrow and rebuild, and have everything come back to the way it was. Maybe not quite the way it was, but it'll be close. Yeah, rivers were quite full. My gosh, the I don't think I've ever seen the Bow River as full as it is.
Hmm.
And when we came back, we went up to around the north part, down from into Prince George, and the Fraser River was quite full. Now, mind you, it is runoff, and the glaciers and the snow cap is melting to fill that. But when our son took a picture of the Brazeau Dam in around where they live, and they were opening the waterways, and I'll bet you the water spout that was coming in there must have been, oh, a couple of 100 meters long. Just
Hmm.
unbelievable water coming out of there. So yeah, interesting. Lots of things to do. See, of
What was
course.
what was how much was gas for this? We, I shouldn't have brought that. That takes us into territory we're going to talk about. Sorry.
Oh, gas. It is what it is. It goes up, but it very rarely comes down. Governments have learned that if you tax it, people pay you money for doing very little, and they don't want to get rid of that. But we are here in where I am is $2.05.9 a liter. Um, but if I go across the line that we're not supposed to go across, I can pick it up for about $1.65 a liter converted. So
Hmm. Well, last I saw, we were at 178, uh,
mhm,
which is probably going to go up as the events far away impact our cost of energy. But I
mhm.
digress. we did talk about other things that suck money out of our pockets. You were saying that you had to get another phone from to replace an aging piece of technology, and discovered aging technology costs money and time and effort.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of like, again, not to dabble in the things we weren't going to talk about, it's kind of like voting. We'll just take the easy route. So
Oh,
the easy route is I'll just keep my phone. And if it stops working, eventually it'll stop working and then I'll deal with it. Um, and then some people are saying, well, it's not that I want to have the latest and greatest, but I'm tired of Android, or I'm tired of this, I'm tired of that. So I'm going to move to a platform that seems to be pretty stable. And, again, our son in Alberta is very, very much an Apple person. And he says, I love it. I can look at something on my phone, and if it gets too small on my phone, I look at it on my iPad. And, I set my phone down there and fire up the iPad, and it's exactly where I left off on my phone. Oh, and if I need to do something, I can go over to my iMac and it's all there, which is something that, Windows doesn't really do.
no,
It's trying, I think.
no.
Android, they do some things better than iOS, but iOS does things better than Android. So,
Yeah. Well, we're not here to promote any products, but I can tell you, I think iPhones are superior to Android phones. I mean, they just are. I know they're the smallest market, and a lot of people have them because it makes them look fancy. But I think an iPhone, don't know that much about Macs or that aspect of the Apple family or platform. But iPhones, for years
completely
I had
sold
an
on them.
Android phone, but
Yeah.
I swear by iPhones. They're just so much easier to deal with. They're
Well, and
not particularly
again,
compatible with anything else, of course.
no,
That's the
no.
downside. But
And I think that the whole thing there, and maybe the thrust of the matter of our talk today is you kind of have to get out of your comfort zone to switch
yes,
from an Android to an iOS. And even here in Canada, get out of your comfort zone, and maybe taking a Great Lakes cruise. Maybe you didn't even know it was on your bucket list, but should it be? Are you comfortable with doing that kind of stuff? We're stuck right now. Well, sort of stuck. Highway 1 is closed down because of a fire. Highway 3 is closed down because of a fire. And right now, the only thing that's open is Highway 5. But if the blazes continue, we may be shut off completely again, like we were during the massive rainstorms that we had about 5 or 6 years ago, where it wiped out bridges and things. Um, we can't really go up Highway 99 because there's a huge fire beyond Whistler and Pemberton that's closed off the highway there. Um, so, we're going to maybe, if 99, 1, 5, and 3 are closed, we're going to have to get out of our comfort zone and maybe actually have to use I-80.
which means nothing to me here in
Well,
this neck of the
I-80
woods.
it's kind of like I don't know what the US 101, we're going to have to cross that magical line and maybe, you know, take it over there so that we can get from Vancouver to the interior of the province, but we're going to have to go through somewhere in the United States to get there.
Oh, okay. I thought I now I understand the geography. Okay.
Hmm.
Well, but it's that's either because Mother Nature is, for some strange reasons, having lightning strikes along highways. I don't know, uh, or they want you to stay home.
Well, I mean that's the other, but that's your comfort zone is home, right?
Yeah.
I'm starting to get, as I put on a Facebook posting the other, I'm really getting tired of people telling me what I can and can't do.
Well, then you're in the wrong country, my friend.
Well,
That's
I'm
what we do
thinking that.
here. Okay, because it's good because that's how we look after each other. I tell you what to do, you tell me what to do, and those other guys somewhere else tell us what to do. And this is what we do in Canada. We tell each other what to do. And we make up rules on how to do, what to do, when to do it, how to do it, why to do it, where to do it. I
Well,
think
I think you had
that's the
mentioned
five W's right there.
even pre-production, you were involved in a HOA, and the general theme that I took away from what you were talking about is that we have a lot of things that could be done better, but I certainly don't. I just mentioning them. I want somebody else to take care of it.
Yeah, well, that's typical.
Mhm.
But we live in this is we talked about this about how this is a weird kind of summer.
Mhm.
We're we're bombarded with essentially bad news, whether it's overseas with wars and whatever, and domestically with incompetence and corruption and whatever. It's just you want to say, you know what? Maybe all those people who don't give a rat's butt or have the right idea and just go on with their lives as best they can and just
Mhm.
ignore it to their peril, I think. But maybe
Well, to
just
your
maybe
peril,
just for
but
the summer, forget all this stuff. Just don't pay attention. Except that these guys are insidious. They're doing stuff, which is not. Eh, you know what I'm saying?
well, we did find out after last week's episode that when we stopped banging our head against the wall, that the headaches went away. So,
That's right. That's right.
maybe for the rest of the summer and into the fall, you don't mention this stuff because obviously, two guys talking over the fence aren't going to change anything, as we
Yeah,
found out in
because
the
the
last
menu is
4
always the
years.
same. That's the
Yeah.
problem. You can say, let's get something else off the menu. Yeah, we've already eaten that one. Okay, well, you're right. Just it just one. Well, here's one. You brought up the big move on people buying CDs and vinyl
Yeah.
records and
Yeah.
what was the other thing?
DVDs and
DVDs.
DVDs,
Yeah,
CDs, vinyl. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's because of the again weird world we live in. You actually can't own the music that you bought
Yeah.
or the
And I guess that was the whole
movie.
crux of the matter there, that people have this subscription with Spotify or whatever, and maybe even for you with your iPhone, you've got an iTunes account.
Yes.
Then you've downloaded maybe 100 songs that you really like, thinking that, wow, I've got these 100 songs and I can go and listen to them. And then tomorrow you turn it on and there's a little icon that comes up and says more info, and you hit that more info and it says uh, that that particular song is no longer available to you because you've listened to it 50 times.
Yeah.
You know, and that was the what this whole matter was about, is that people are now rushing out to get CDs. And I had used the example because it's the quickest one that came in my mind was the Rolling Stones 40 Licks. It's a few years old now,
Yes.
but you download that onto your iPad and you can listen to it for 100 times and then it's going to go away. Whereas you go down to a swap meet or into a music store and you can buy the CD and you can
A
put it on
music
your
store?
shelf. And
What's a music store?
they used to have those. We've got one out here still, I think.
Really?
Yeah, it sells vinyl and CDs
Oh, you
and
like a used place? Or
yeah, a lot of it is used
okay,
stuff.
because I
So
because the I when you brought that up, I thought, what music store? I don't I now I don't hang a lot
well, they're a
around in
dinosaur.
malls very much or buy music. But
They
I'm
are a
trying to think.
dinosaur, Tom. There's no question about that. They are dead and gone. But there are secondhand stores where you can go in and get vinyl
Hmm,
music or CDs, and it'd be pretty hard to say you can't listen to that 102 times when all you have to do is go to your shelf and put it into the CD player and
yeah, but you know, it's part of the sort of the fact that we're not around forever, and neither is because you might. you know, the technology is teaching us a really painful lesson, especially the last, I would say, 20 years. from both a commercial perspective and a societal perspective. Commercially, they keep changing the stuff they played on, and the platform you used
Yeah.
10 years ago doesn't. There's nothing to play it on today because they don't make it anymore. Like if you have the obvious one, you had a whole bunch of cassettes. In fact, actually, talking cassettes, I'm sure anybody who's 20 years old go, what the hell are you talking? What's a cassette? But
Mm.
even if you
Well,
have, even if you
the
bought it
eight
at
track.
a flea market, where are you going to play it on? Like there's nobody
Well,
makes machinery.
that goes back to again the old hangers on. Our son sent us a message and said, do you remember those Nintendo little hand games that we have when we were kids? Did you keep any of them? And we're thinking, well, no, why? He says, I was just on eBay or something, and there's a big need for them, that people want them. And apparently, the thing that cost you maybe $5 to $10 when he bought them in the 60s or in the 70s and 80s and 90s is now worth 650 to $700.
Wow.
So you might go to a swap meet and find somebody, and I'll use the classic of the Doc Brown and Back to the Future. The guy with the hair and the eyes, and you're going to go to his swap meet and you're going to find that he's selling you or able to sell you an 8 track
An 8 track.
or a cassette player. And then with today's technology, you can go out and you can buy a little adapter that will plug into these things and take that vinyl sound or that CD sound and digitize it so that you can actually put it on your computer and watch movies
Yeah.
or.
Well, I mean, it's interesting you say that because I've over the years have maybe 300 or 400 CDs, music CDs.
Mhm.
And a lot of those, I remember buying the little gizmo and playing it on the computer and turning it into an MP3. So
Mhm.
that, and I built the library. And ever since then, those CDs are back on the shelf in their little plastic cases, having never been taken out probably for 10 years. They'll,
But the fact now is that if they decide, that on your iPod, where you may have downloaded that particular MP3 that you did on your own, and say, yeah, I'm sorry, Tom, but that's 102nd time you listen to this, so it's done, finished, gone. All you have to do is go to your shelf and
mean this
transfer.
iPod?
Yeah,
I
you know.
can't. Oh dear.
So
I just, so how do you bring that up? Because I just found this in the drawer the other day and wondered if it actually works, and it does.
yeah, and it'll go, yeah. And if they change it to, what was it, from MP3 to MP4 to AVI to WAV, whatever the format is,
Yeah.
as long as you have something that plays that, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, but if you haven't got the original, because you have to buy it, I mean, what happens if these songs or these albums that are classics, but there's no flea market to get it in, but you have to then buy it from one of these proprietary
Yeah,
data. I mean, basically, they're just data banks, aren't they? That are making you shell out dough for
yeah,
a digital copy,
yeah.
right?
Well, I
Which, if you
say,
say, if you play it 101 times, that's it. Thank you. Ka-ching, ka-ching on your credit card.
mhm, yeah. So
Well,
yeah, it definitely is a changing world, and for this
oh yeah.
summer theme, it would be maybe kind of nice to go and take your iPod there and put some nice Beach Boys music on it and go down to your beach and.
Yeah. Well, I spent last week, I had a laptop, an Acer, sorry, tablet, which ran on Windows 10. Okay. Or runs on Windows 10 because I've spent a week making sure it'll still run because, as you know, those folks at Microsoft said that Windows 10 will end in October of this year. Then they decided to make it October next year for technical reasons. Actually, there's a billion people said I don't think so, and they decided they're going to move away from Windows and go someplace else. But I had a devil of a time to update it because again, this sat on a shelf for 2 years. This little machine is only 3 years old. Well, it's not upgradable because one of the things that Acer and in cahoots with Microsoft is that the actual Intel processor isn't on the list, okay, of okay
Acceptable.
processors.
Yeah.
Well, to make it even more insidious, I thought, now that we're deep into this conversation, I thought, well, you know what, I'll do what lots of other people did. The hell with Microsoft, I'll install one of the distros from Linux. No, you can't, Tom. That is just not possible because whatever they've done with the architecture of the tablet laptop, there is no way to go to the BIOS and boot it into another operating system. Can't do it. I've worked on it last week probably for 5 hours and just said, the hell with it. I can't do this. I spent all sorts of time in geek land on the internet looking for people who obviously try to do one and the same thing.
Yeah.
And there's no this is and so you can see they're making money out of thin air with this stuff. That the software guys at Microsoft are in cahoots in this case with the Acer folks that you might as well take this to the recycling
Recycle
place
shop.
because you can't do anything, but you can buy a new one for probably $600, which again will have some crap operating system on it that will be no good to you in 3 years once again. So there's this wheel we're on
Yeah.
as a society, and technology is doing to us, giving us stress where we didn't need it in the first place.
Well, again, if you live in the land where you choose to ignore that, you got two options. One, you can just go completely cold. And we have a person we visited this summer who doesn't own a cell phone. No desire to own a cell phone. Doesn't matter how much her kids pressure or bug her. Doesn't have a cell phone. Will not get a cell phone.
Are they living in a cave?
No, actually, very nice home. A very nice part of the city that we
Are
visited
they
in.
under a Faraday cage or something?
No, just
Okay, I'm
no
just
desire to be
yanking
that
your
plugged
chain
in.
on this. And
And
so, how do they communicate with you?
by email
Well, then they
or by a
have technology.
landline. They have a phone, but it is a landline phone. It's not a cell phone. So,
Do they have unicorns and zebras in the backyard or
not that we saw, no.
no, I mean, I'm being a little nuts here, but that's amazing. That's off the okay. It's a kind of being off the grid, right?
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah.
I'm not going to be on this hamster wheel of technology because it really
Well,
is.
and like you said, so I buy this wonderful cellular telephone from a particular provider who they happen to like, with a particular operating system that they happen to know. And 3 years from now, it's stopped being upgradable, and
Well,
or
nice.
it's not that it's not upgradable. It's just the fact that you know you, it, its chipware is not being recognized, so you have to get a new one. Well,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
don't want a new one.
Yeah, well, you really have to get pretty geeky to work around. I mean, I couldn't get this Acer tablet to work. I got it to accept the last version of Windows 10, which will run until next October, and then I can junk it because there's nothing I can do with it. And I just did it for fun. It's not like I don't have. Obviously, you and I are having this conversation, and we have the technology to communicate and record and do whatever. But it costs us money to keep it
Well,
going because you
I'm
need the
finding that
equipment to
too.
stay up to date.
I've got the laptop going here, but my desktop PC, with the next release of the Windows in October, might be the end. I might be able to download that, and that'll be it.
Yeah.
And
Well, if it's a laptop and it you can still probably put some distro of Linux on it without too much trouble. And I think I'm telling you in pre-production, there's a guy, and I wish I could remember where he's from, but just a guy has come up with a system by which you, if you install Linux on a laptop or on a desktop, whatever, you can actually run Windows programs on this. Now, this has been tried in various different formats to some very sketchy success because it's just, it's just very difficult to really do. But this guy has all by himself has done it. Apparently, if you go on the internet and you suss it out, this is, and I'm worried that this guy might be ended somewhere. By you may have a car accident or whatever, because you're talking about taking on a
huge company,
the big corporation here. Microsoft won't take kindly. I mean, look what they did to Skype. This, and now the very thing we're using half the time, which is Teams, they've had to in Europe separate it from the operating system because it's by being part of the operating, you're forced to use it. And I don't give the European Union a lot of credit for much, but on this thing I say, good for you, because this is just too much from a technology perspective, over the top, to make people have to use this system. And they wrecked a perfectly good communication platform in the process. And look how much trouble we had last year trying to make this thing work. So it really is getting kind of insidious. But it on the other hand, there are folks who are thinking about, well, I don't want to live in a cave. I don't want to go off the grid, but I need to find an alternative to the technologies keep me hostage. And it's not so much that it's turning people into poor people. I mean, the government is very much, and we won't go very much into government stuff today, but they very much are part of the problem, because as they keep telling you, well, we're not going to send you your stuff by mail or snail mail, or we do your stuff with the government through your phone. Well, that means you have to have a phone, not just any phone. It's got to be a phone that's up to date. Okay. So they're in cahoots with the tech folks on making sure that you have the most up-to-date software in the most up-to-date smartphone, or the most up-to-date laptop, or the most up-to-date desktop, in order just to communicate with your bank, to communicate with your government on your pension or on whatever. And one of the things I noticed, which has nothing to do with exactly what we're talking about here, but do they ask you in your neck of the woods, when you buy something, do you want to keep your receipt?
They ask now if we want to just email it or print it, but
okay. All right, because here it's almost rote work. You buy something, and the clerk or the salesperson or the checkout, would you want the receipt? And what do you do with it? You usually take it and you crunch it up and you throw it in the garbage. You go home. Okay. Well, now I've discovered, don't do that. And I'll tell you why. Because I was over at the grocery store, and then we'll wrap it up for today. But this is just, think about this. I was at the grocery store, bought some stuff, come home, and I have the receipt. And for whatever reason, I wanted to see what it was that I bought for how much. Okay. As I'm going through the receipt, I get to the bottom. It says $2 service charge. Yes, sir. Customer service charge. I said $2. And so, what the hell is this $2 for? I don't know. So I'm going to go back to the grocery store and inquire, because I usually just crunch it up, throw it in the garbage. But what am I, tipping the checkout clerk now? Like, what the heck is going on here? $2. Now, you wouldn't miss it. No, it's not like they're saying, can you give us $1 for the food bank or whatever? No.
Yeah.
It says $2 customer service charge. Well, I didn't ask for service. No one took my stuff to the car. I bought $73 worth of groceries, and that was it. Well, it's with the $2 service charge. So I'll once I suss that out, I'll have it for our next episode, because I don't. So watch your receipt. If they say, "Do you want your receipt?" Yeah, get it, because you might get charged for something you didn't buy, or
Yeah.
got a service that you didn't ask for.
Yeah. Well, and coupled with that too, out here in particular, we are now going to the ticketless parking, where you now have to go to a machine and you take a picture of the QR code to register your car's license plate number and get to park for 2 hours or whatever it is.
Okay.
So if you don't have a smartphone,
Smartphone. Yeah, how do you do that?
uh, and even if you have a dumb phone, they're going to say, but you're phoning us on a phone.
Yeah, I mean, technology is great. I love it, but sometimes I think we're being taken advantage of, and it's basically making money out of thin air, is what
Mhm.
it is for these
Kind of like a
corporations.
Bitcoin. Yeah.
Well, let's not even go there with that. All right, well, that's it.
Yeah.
We're gonna pull the pin today. It's gonna today
Yeah,
we say we're gonna do light and easy. I think
it
we were
is.
as light and easy as we can get for because there was nothing else on the menu today.
Well, there was lots. We just chose not to bang our head again.
That's right. We
Yeah.
took the cheap stuff off the menu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And apparently mac and cheese is pretty good.
Yeah, and it's almost $2 a box now. Used to be 69 cents. Just saying. Oh, we're slipping into it again. Sorry, gotta stop. Look, see, bell's going off. Time to go.
Have fun.
All right, don't forget hit the yes we like you button. Buy us a coffee. What else do we always tell people?
Uh, enjoy your summer.
Have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend. Yeah. Do something out of your comfort zone.
Yeah,
Like you.
yeah,
Gonna go and drive to find that hamburger.
yes, yes. I promised my grandson I'd take him to get a hamburger and an ice cream, so I better go do that,
Yeah.
or I won't be on the Christmas list. All right,
Oh,
Bob. Take
talk to you
care.
soon.
Yep. Adios.